So here we are up on the mountain on another test drive. It's just after sunset. All the critters are coming out. We're driving a two-door JK 2011. And this is the budget build that we showed earlier. And when I say budget, that's really not an appropriate term because this is a great JK. It drives great. It's got a 5.3 LMG in it. This is very similar to the first JK we built way back in 2009, which was a white four-door JKU 5.3 running the stock radiator, stock drive shafts, stock transfer case, stock, pretty much stock everything. This customer did choose to get upgraded drive shafts and exhaust. But other than that, everything in this JK is pretty much original. Now this JK is running our billet aluminum accessory drive brackets along with all the factory JK accessories that came off this vehicle. And we've been doing that now for 8 years, and it's an excellent setup. Now the rest of the build is still fully functional. We still have cruise control on the steering wheel, tap shift. He chose not to go with a bump shifter, but tap shift is done through a toggle switch, which works great. This heater works too good. Let me lower it a little bit. He still has our full electronics package with a body control module. And what's important to know about that, these two doors have a short couple, so they don't tend to ride as good over the big stuff as the four doors do. What's important to know about these harnesses, we don't cut any corners, even on these budget builds. And we'll talk about the costs here in a few minutes. But he still has our full GM network with all the appropriate modules and wiring. Now this harness has 14 power distribution circuits and 6, maybe 7 ground distribution circuits, depending, which is equal to or more than GM supplies. And that's very critical because power and ground distribution is what makes this vehicle not only run but remain reliable. I've been looking at some aftermarket harnesses lately, even some JK LS harnesses that run 2 or 3 power distribution circuits and 1 ground distribution circuit. And that's just nuts. 1 ground distribution wire for an electronically controlled fuel-injected engine, V8, an electronically controlled transmission, which is heavily reliant on ground distribution and low reference. All your interior electronics, throttle body motors, accelerator pedal position sensors, essentially running 1 wire on your ground distribution is equivalent to making it a fusible link. It's not much more than that. So this build has our full OE harness with all the redundancies built in. It has limp modes. It's going to pass emissions here in Nevada. He's going to have this registered. So it has our emissions package, fuel tank pressure sensor, evap vent solenoid, purge solenoid, all the monitors, all the diagnostics, mode 6 data. This is a great Jeep. My wife is still driving a Jeep very similar to this with a 5.3 LH6, which is an aluminum version of this engine. This is an LMG iron motor with VVT and AFM. AFM is 4-cylinder mode. The LH6 is an all-aluminum 5.3 with AFM but no VVT. Most of the early 5.3s, 7, 8, 9 did not have VVT. And she has nearly 140,000 miles on that engine with stock drive shafts and all the other things I mentioned. So this JK has got over 300 horsepower. For me and my family, 5.3 is pretty much all we would need. Now, if you do go to this, you do need to go to a 6.0 if you're running trails at high speed, like up in Colorado, you're running 8, 10, 12,000 feet with 40s. The 6.0 is basically a larger version of the 5.3 and will more efficiently move a heavy JK. So you're going to want to go to a 6.0 if you have a heavy JK. But if you got a light JK, 32-inch tires or less, even 35-inch tires if you live in the flatlands. Do a build like this. Don't go overboard. Don't spend a lot of money on expensive exhaust systems and tuners and all aluminum blocks. This is a fabulous swap, and I've done many of them. I've got these 5.3s up in Newfoundland. I've got them in Alaska, and for the dollar for value cannot be beat in the engine swap world, in my opinion, because of the longevity and again the reliability. So keep your eye out for an iron or a aluminum 5.3 Gen 4 engine if your JK is light. I think this customer's next move will probably be to soften the suspension up. He doesn't need really any modifications with this 5.3, especially with our accessory drive bracket setup, because we have all the room in the world to the upper control arm and the steering gear. Everything is back where it belongs. I really should air these tires down for a better ride, but what I'm doing here is trying to shake down this Jeep, and if there's going to be an issue, I want to know it. So I've got these tires aired up and we're shaking things up. And when we go through collegiate trails like this, if there's a problem, it's going to show up. So that's about it. This is the other side of the spectrum, the budget build. And like I say, it's really not a budget build because the end product is an awesome Jeep that gets the job done, get where you want to go. And you don't have to spend $25,000 on an engine swap. You can spend much less than that and still get excellent results with an LS. So we'll be seeing you again soon with 2 more test drives that I've got to do in the next week. Thanks.